Good day everybody, welcome back to my channel, Being Human in South Africa. And my last two videos that I've made have been about choice. The first choice was when I was 21, I decided that health would be my highest priority. And then in 1999 and then 2004 and onwards, I decided that resourcing myself would be my highest priority, and my family and my house. So making own electricity, making own water, not 100%, we're not there yet, but we're working on it. Other kinds of backup systems, prepping, but in the city, all that kind of thing, understanding where the food comes from, looking at health. And then I promised that the next video I would make would be on sticking to your choices, which is even more difficult than making the choice in the first place. You know, if you buy a car and you hit hard times, you can sell the car. If you put your own energy system in and hit hard times, it's difficult to sell it. It's connected to the house, it's part of the house, you're dependent on it, and it's reducing your cost of living, and it's making your quality of life more. So health is not only the food you eat and the liquid you drink and the air you breathe and the things you think. Sticking to choices is critical, and health includes other things. We need to notice what our bodies are telling us. So one of the things that happens is we get a cold. Our noses are running, and we run off to the pharmacy to get a potion, a drug, a pharmaceutical thing. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, some kind of pill or potion, liquid, drink, whatever it happens to be, and we take it, and so the next day we can go to work. But when we get a cold, our body is telling us, take 3 days off. So I like to try and get my colds, if I get them, on a Friday, and then I have the weekend off so I can be at work on Monday. Of course, for 20 years, worked from home, so it doesn't matter when I get the cold. If I have to be off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, then I will work and catch up on Saturday and Sunday. Next thing is we get influenza, and our body is telling us to take off a week. And maybe we take off 1 or 2 days, and then we take some pills and we're back in the office. And then we get bronchitis and that other infectious disease that started in 2020. And our body's telling us to take off 2 weeks, not to sit at the computer, not to work, maybe to reply to urgent things, but mostly just to lie in bed and to read and just heal. But maybe we take a pill, and maybe we're back in the office. Maybe we wear a mask so we don't contaminate other people. I see that as a new trend in the current period, post the pandemic, where people are wearing masks, and I wonder if they're wearing masks because they're sick and they should really be in bed, or they're wearing masks because they're worried about catching something. I'm not quite sure yet what's going on. Maybe you can enlighten me in the comments. What do you think? But be that as it may, your body's telling you need to take off 2 weeks in that environment, in that situation. But we don't do this, and therefore our sicknesses get worse and worse. Perhaps we have an accident that puts us in hospital for 3 months. And maybe it's because we didn't have a rest. Caroline May says there aren't any accidents. Everything has a reason. I can't tell you if your accident was because you didn't rest when you should have. I can't tell you if you got cancer or some really bad disease, heart disease or anything else, chronic disease. I can't tell you if that happened because you didn't take off that 3 days when you were 25. I'm not telling you not to take pills. I'm not telling you not to go to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm a healer. I believe in looking at the big picture. And I believe in understanding what my body's telling me. I'll give you some other examples that I've learned. These are things for myself that I've noticed over the years with a lot of meditation and a lot of self-reflection and a lot of possibly non-scientific, although I believe it's scientific. There's a difference between Western science and Eastern science. In the West, science is in a laboratory. In the East, science is by observation, historically. So Chinese scientists for 1,000 years observed that if they put a needle in the body in a particular place, it healed something. Or they discovered meridians. Or Japanese discovered Reiki energy, or whatever the case is in the East compared to how medicine worked in the West. And in Africa, the African doctors discovered that if they broke a flower and some sap came out, that it healed a wound. So all of that medicine is critical to understand what works, what doesn't work. We have something in our house. If we buy some food and we're unsure if we should eat it or not, then we put it outside. And if the ants don't eat it, we don't eat it. And cats and dogs and snails and other animals in the garden know what's okay to eat and what's not okay to eat. Of course, maggots will eat meat that's gone off, which we won't eat. And dogs, of course, love to eat fresh chops, even though they could eat meat that's off for humans, but okay, still for dogs. So what are these observations that I've seen about myself? Some of them. First is, I get slight tinnitus. And when I get that, I know my sugar is a little bit higher. And then maybe I get low pressure when I go to make a number one, a wee. And then I know my sugar is higher. And then the worst, if I don't do anything about it quickly enough, is if I go and make a number two and it's painful and it's hot and it's sore, then my sugar is very high. Now this is for me. I'm not saying it's for you. It's observations I've seen. And what do I do then? In the first case, tinnitus, I just cut out things with sugar. Even bread. In the second case, I cut out more things that sugar. Obviously, first thing is going to be bread and cake. I don't drink Coca-Cola. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I don't. And then the worst case is I do a 3-day fast, where I have liquids and I have minerals and I have vitamins and I have electrolytes, and that's what I do. And then after 3 days, I'm okay. No pasta, no meat, no, I try to be as vegan as possible. I try to eat some cheese because, although it's not vegan, cheese is protein, it breaks down sugar. That's been my experience, and so on. So these are things that I've noticed about myself from that point of view. I know that if I get sick, my body is telling me, take a rest. I know when I had my motorbike accident 3 years ago, I knew immediately why it had happened. I had taken on too much work, too many projects. Most recently, on the day of the accident, when I accepted another project and I should have said no. As it was, after my accident, my client rescheduled it. It wasn't as urgent as it seemed to be at the time. So your body is telling you stuff. Are you listening to it? Because if you don't, then potentially you get worse and worse disease until you get chronic disease that doesn't go away, or doesn't go away easily. Of course, all disease, if we got it, we can make it go away. And people, doctors perhaps, say that your body gets more unhealthy as you get older, but why should it? My personal opinion is that your body should get more and more healthy as you get older. And what my body tells me immediately is if I eat something and it disagrees with me, I feel it in minutes. I go out for supper with friends who are not as health conscious as I am, and maybe we eat exactly the same food and I get ill immediately and they get ill the next day. So I know very quickly when something is disagreeing with my body or my mind. Why do I try to look after the environment? Not just because I believe it's our mission on the planet, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, but also because I want to breathe the best quality air, the most oxygenated air. I live in such a beautiful city in Cape Town in South Africa, where right now the Cape Doctor's blowing. It's blowing all the germs and sicknesses out into the ocean. But we need to reduce that. We have COP27 that's on at the moment in Egypt. Conference of parties, governments, businesses, others are getting together, NGOs, and so on are all getting together and saying, how can we fix the environment? But why should we fix the environment? The first and main reason is because it will make us more healthy. It'll make our environment more healthy. It'll make us more healthy. But regardless of all this, sticking to your choice, sticking to your vision is really difficult in an age of marketing and an age of distraction. So please like and subscribe and share and comment, ask questions. I'm here for you. I pray for you. I bless you. And I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. These are observations that I've seen for myself that might be useful for you. Thank you.